And we are live. Hey, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sarah DeVello, and I'm so excited to welcome tonight nationally best-selling author Jessie Q. Sutanto, who is here to tell us about her brand new book out tomorrow, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Jessie, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Hi, well, thank you so much for having me here, Sarah. I've been really looking forward to this. Vera Wong is basically Knives Out meets Kim's Convenience. I kind of wanted to write from the point of view of like another meddlesome, Chinese auntie slash mom character, because that's what I grew up with. And Vera is basically my mom, but with the dial turned up to 100, and I thought, how fun would it be if she found a dead body in the middle of her shop? I had no idea what kind of shop it was. At first I thought maybe a bakery, but then I was like, oh, but so many cozy mysteries are set in bakeries. And honestly, like I don't have enough baking know-how to kind of know how to set my book aside from every other book that is set in a bakery. So then I was like, maybe a cafe. But then I was like, would my mom run a cafe? Like, no, she would nag about coffee being bad for you. Um, she would 100% run a tea shop. So that was how like it all kind of came together. It was just a lot of asking myself, like, what would my mother do?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, what would your mom do? And I noticed that you dedicated your book to your mom,
Yeah.
which was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in a tea drinking household where there was no coffee, and I am a major tea
Oh.
lover. And then crazily, right before this interview went live, I just got all of these delicious teas that I ordered from this woman-owned tea store. Hi, hello.
It's my 7-year-old. My kids just got up and are gonna get ready for school, so it might get crazy here.
No, hi, good morning. Okay, perfect. So I just want to welcome everyone who's watching us live. We're going live to 6 different destinations across YouTube and Facebook. So if you've been here before, you know how this works. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you. Here's how it works. You get to meet Jessie and ask her anything. Ask her about Mrs. Wong. Ask her about meddlesome mamas. Ask her about tea. Ask her about writing. We got a lot. Anything you can ask, anything you can think of, you can ask. We have a mystery user saying, hey, ladies, I'm so obsessed with Vera. Happy Pub Day Eve, Jessie. Yay, happy Pub Day Eve.
Thank you.
So, Jessie, this book has earned so much amazing praise. Let's talk about some of it. So, Elle Cosimano, the USA Today bestselling author of Finlay, Donovan is killing it. Had a lot of wonderful praise. She says, Vera Wong is my new favorite sleuth. This book is comfort food for the soul. Every chapter is bursting with wisdom and heart.
Yeah, I know, but Mama's having a meeting, okay?
Oh my goodness, we have Maid Cobb in the house, New York Times bestselling author Maid Cobb. Hey, May.
May! Oh my gosh. I love May so much. She is one of my biggest support systems.
And that's so wonderful. And May is the one who was wishing you a very happy pub day. And so excited. Let's take a peek at what May had to say about the book. So let's pop up some her praise here. So she says that this is a staggering, masterful suspense confection. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers is quite simply one of my favorite novels of all time. The kind of book
Yeah.
that you want to reread
All right,
every
go
year
go
in
and
order
check.
to revisit its brilliant world. Vera will delight, charm, and steal your heart. It is a propulsive, delectable blend of Knives Out meets The Maid, shot through Sutanto's customary raucous sense of humor and astonishing twists. Um, she says that Vera is an instant classic. So first of all, congratulations on all of that amazing praise from the incredible May Cobb, who's also one of my favorite human beings in the world. And let's
Mhm.
talk about how you did it. So a staggering, masterful suspense confection. What's the secret to creating a staggering, masterful suspense confection?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure May would know because that's what I think May's books are like. But something about Vera is that it has multiple points of view. It has 5 points of view. And I think that's the most number of points of view that I have written. I
Yeah.
did write a book with I think six. This was like 9 years ago or something. So I don't know that that counts. But it was just so fun. I was really intimidated, but getting into all of these characters' heads ended up being really amazing. And was such a breath of fresh air. I really needed it just for myself personally.
Mm.
And the hardest part was during the plotting stage when I was, because I do like chapter outlines before I start writing. And I knew that Vera was going to be the main character, but the remaining four characters, I wanted them to have kind of equal screen time between the four of them. So it's actually really difficult. Like, okay, well, we already have a chapter from character A's point of view, and then character C hasn't been in the book for like quite a while now. I really need C to come back in. Oh no, but C is not going to be in this scene. So now I have to keep shifting things around to kind of make sure that nobody gets really, left behind.
Yeah, right, which is the challenge. I just wrote a 4
Mm-hmm.
POV book and it was freaking hard. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
why did I make my life 4 times harder than it needed to be?
yes.
May Cobb is also no stranger to writing multiple points of view. And I was like, this is a challenge that really, I wasn't expecting it to be this hard. But
Mm-hmm.
it sure is. May thinks she loves us both. We love you, May. We love you. A question for you,
Amazing.
Jesse. How in the world did you do all of these different POVs so effortlessly? And then she says about your daughters, hey, sweeties. Oh my God, they are too cute. So yeah, how did you, when you're talking about like, oh, we haven't heard from C in a while, but we can't hear from C. So did you do it wrong and have to redo it? Did you have a chart? Did you loop some threads? Color coded post-its?
Um,
What's the secret?
yeah. No, so no like complicated charts or like color coded anything just because my brain doesn't work that way. But I just had a list like so chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Um, and so the secret to each POV is that I really related in some way to each and every one of them. So, like Julia, who was married to the victim. Um, Sorry, is it getting too noisy here? If it is, I'll switch to a different room.
No, we are hearing a little
No,
background noise, but it's not too bad.
okay, okay, all right. It's just that if I leave to a different room, then the
I
kids
think
might
it's
like
okay.
freak
I think
out
it's
and
okay.
follow me.
Yeah.
Okay. um, okay. So right. So Julia, she has a toddler who is very shy, who she's so concerned about, and she's honestly kind of just pretty lost as a mom. And that was me, especially with my first kid. I mean, we just had no idea. Yeah, with you. Sorry about that. A little bit. My kid is like laughing. Um, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I just felt so like the worst mom in the world all the time. I just felt like I was making mistake after mistake as a mom. And so I poured a lot of that into Julia's point of view. And then another point of view is Sana, who is a struggling artist. Oh, and there's actually a little bit of self-insert there. Not with Sana, but like I think with
Ooh.
Sana's mom, because Sana's mom is like this really obnoxious author who releases 4 books a year and is always telling Sana, like, oh, honey, there's no such thing as a creative block. It's just all in your mind, it's just mind over matter. And I had a lot of fun writing that. But like Sana, I totally related to her because I think every creative person can relate to, the feeling of like being blocked and just not knowing like, oh no, have I just lost it? Did I
Yeah.
lose whatever magic it was that allowed me to do XYZ?
Yeah.
So all of these like insecurities that I had, I would pour into all of my characters.
Ooh. So that's how that enriched the telling of these characters and made them relatable. And you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for the wonderful question, and thank you for that insight, Jesse. Um, one of the many things that you're writing and your work and this book has been praised for is your incredible sense of humor. And as I am reading it, I am literally laughing out loud. I mean, cackling in my apartment, startling my dog. But it's actually really hard to be funny on the page. What do you think the secret is to being so funny and being able to make people laugh?
I think it's because well, number one, I am a very needy and insecure person. So, so I'm always like, okay, I gotta make them laugh. That's how I know that they like me. Like when I was in school, that was like my thing. How to get boys to pay attention to me is like to make them laugh. But the other thing is that, like I said, I grew up with these very meddlesome Chinese mom and dad and aunties and uncles. I kind of feel like it's payback, for 37 years of them like meddling in my life. Now we get to write about them. But so much of the humor is from uh, things that they have said or done to me or my cousins. And so I guess it's easy for me because I just have like a never ending well that I can just draw from. And it's all authentic because it's really all happened. So
So I love the character of Vera. Bless her heart, up at 4:30 a.m. every day, texting her son Tilly, who does not want to be called Tilly. He wants to be called Bert, but she stubbornly insists on calling him Tilly. And are you up yet? You should be up before your parents. And she is so hilarious and so driven, and she's so, I mean, so focused, and she's so motivated, and I mean, that woman never stops. And I like how you said, she's taking her walk and she's got to address every day
yeah.
by a chokehold. And I was up late reading last night, and I laughed out loud because I was like, I'm like that. And it was so funny, Jesse. Oh my God. It is literally laugh out loud funny, and she's so darling. But then you also balance that with, she's this motivation. She's going to get her walk. She is 2,291 steps, and she knows she doesn't need to count the walk. She knows, and she's got to get that heart rate up to 92 beats. I mean, she's so funny.
Yeah.
But when I track my steps, I was like, I'm kind of Mrs. Wong. But then she also is really sad and lonely. And when she's sitting there at the counter and she only has her one
Mhm.
customer per day, it was like, oh, this hurts. And as anyone who's ever tried to run a business, it's like you feel so vulnerable. So I loved how you
Yeah.
balanced that, and then just about that character. Same with Julia, balancing it as a vulnerable, mom juggling a toddler, and that's a lot too. So I liked,
Mhm.
anyway, with all of your characters, I felt like you humanize
Mhm.
them, but I just wanted to talk about that as well. And that's not the only
Oh, thank
yay.
you so much. Yeah, that means so much to me. And that is all 100% my parents, because my parents actually do wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And then they think I'm so lazy because like I wake up at 6 in the morning, because the girls have to go to school and I get them ready. And they're just like, what are you, European? And I'm like, that's not even a thing. Okay, like nobody here in Asia wakes up at 4:30, like it's just you guys. Like it's all things that they've said to me, like how oh, Vera thinks cold water, like drinking cold water
Oh,
is really bad for
freezes
you
the
because it frees
fats.
the yeah,
Freezes the
frees
fats
the
in your
fats in your
arteries.
artery.
It causes, yeah,
um
oh my God, I laughed so much at
that
that.
is
It's so
that is
cute.
literally what my parents like tell me, and they're like, and then it's just a lot of random things like, whatever, any random thing you can think of, like, oh my God, listening to rock music will give you liver cancer. It's just very,
Right. Or she has to
very
text her, don't eat too late.
descriptive
That
things.
causes pancreatic
And
cancer. Oh my gosh, totally. Or yeah, and it's so funny. I laughed at that thing about the lukewarm water because growing up, my parents only let us drink lukewarm water, like, room temperature water as well. They thought that cold water was unhealthful. So it just was so funny that she has all these adorable little anecdotes. Oh, Jesse, I think you're frozen. Can you still hear me? All right, let's see if Jesse comes back. Oh, she's coming back. Okay, it's rebooting. She's back.
hi, sorry.
Yeah, no worries at all. But it was I loved the part about the room temperature water because growing up, my parents only let me drink room temperature water because they thought cold water was unhealthful as well. So I was like,
Oh my
there's
gosh,
so
do you
many
know why?
beautiful things. I don't know why. They just were like, no, you can't let your system get too cold. It affects your digestion.
Oh wow, that's so
So
interesting.
funny.
I'm gonna have to ask a doctor about this because there
I
must
think
be some reason why everyone thinks it's bad for you.
um Jesse, let's get back to some of this amazing praise. Amy Clark, author of Girl 11, says Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers is like the perfect cup of tea, complex, carefully brewed with a zing of humor and a warm, sweet finish. A charming, delightful book. I loved that review because so much of the book, of course, is her tea shop. And she, has her 181 drawer, tea curio cabinet. And oh no, I lost you again. Mrs. Wong's
Sorry.
tea cabinet has her 180 drawers, and she's pulling different ingredients out to brew someone because brew for Alex. He's too heaty, so we've got to bring his constitution
Hmm.
down a little. We're going to put mung beans in, and
Hmm.
she's always brewing up these medicinal teas. So let's talk about your tea knowledge. First, what tea do you drink?
So I drink all sorts of different teas. I'm not a tea snob in the sense that, I one of my favorite teas is actually Lipton, and I also drink like more high end teas if they're available.
Yeah,
But I'm actually really quite proud of my tea knowledge because I did grow up just knowing a lot about Chinese teas because my grandfather, well, all my grandparents were actually from China, and then my mom's side of the family, my grandfather was very traditional. Um, and so he was always like, girls have to know how to serve tea, which sucks, but it was actually really interesting because he would like kind of teach us. I don't know why it was him teaching us and not my grandmother. It must have been because my grandmother was like, whatever, like if you believe that so much, then you teach them. Um, but he would like he would teach us how to actually do it properly. Like you have to boil water. You have to like pour scalding water over the teapot and the teacups. Like you can't just like fill a cold, like room temperature teapot with hot water. And the teapots are so tiny; they're like this big. And then he was like, oh, and then you pour out like the first brew, all these little steps. Like he would teach us, and then he would kind of teach us how to hold it properly, so we can serve our husbands like good wives or whatever. But I was actually quite fascinated by it, and he introduced us to a lot of Chinese teas, and a lot of them are very bitter. But I grew up drinking them, so then I grew up loving them. And then when I was 16, we visited like a tea farm in China, and we had like a blind taste test. Um, I think there were maybe like 6 to 8 different tea leaves. And they were like, oh, rate it from, which one you think is the highest quality to like the lowest quality. And like, I
Ooh.
got it all right. No one else did. All of my cousins, my parents, and even my grandfather, and my uncles and aunts, like they got it all wrong. And I was like, yeah, that's because, I listened when grandpa was telling us about tea. So I felt like it was the perfect, way to kind of weave more of myself into the book. Sorry, I have to give them a hug
Mm.
before school. Okay, have a good day. Love you.
I don't want to do gymnastics.
No, you gotta do gymnastics.
I love
Sorry
so in
about
the
that.
there's a scene in Mrs. Wong where we get to see her brew the tea the proper way, where she boils the water and pours it over the cups to warm them to the proper temperature. Then
Mm-hmm.
she pours the hot
Yeah.
water over the tea leaves, then tosses that first bitter batch, then
Mm-hmm.
re-pours it so that the best and correct flavor steeped for the right amount of time. And the
Mm-hmm.
care and the thought of it, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I need to be more careful with my brewing because I do love tea, but I don't usually take sometimes I take the time
Mm-hmm.
to warm the cup, but not usually. And it's like,
Yeah.
I guess it matters. So I loved that. I love knowing that scene is actually informed from your grandfather. So thank you for sharing that backstory and letting us know that your tea knowledge is good, is informed. Melissa
I got
Watson
to
joining us.
brag for a bit.
Absolutely, brag. Melissa's joining us from Australia. She says, "Good day, Sarah and Jesse. Good day.
Hi.
Good to have you here, Melissa. Always a pleasure to see your name pop up." And Melissa says that she doesn't normally read humorous books, but this one sounds brilliant. Melissa, this one is brilliant. So I love humorous books. I
Aw.
love to laugh out loud. I love to make other people laugh. I love to be made to laugh, and I am cackling. I mean, I'm just like thoroughly enjoying myself. So thank you for letting us, thank you for the comment, and thank you for watching with us, Melissa. You guys, the book is out tomorrow here in the US. So you can pre-order tonight, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will pop your copy in the mail. So I'm going to give you that pre-order link. Let me pop it up. So no matter where you're watching from, Facebook or YouTube, here is the link to pre-order tonight and join the wonderful world of Mrs. Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Here's that link. Click and order, and then let us know what you think as well. Let's get back to some of this other praise, Jesse. So Lynn Painter says, I love this book, and I love the feisty Vera Wong. Let me pop this up so we can all read it together. Jesse Sutanto delivers laugh out loud hijinks that are all wrapped up in charm and heart and a dead body. 10 out of 10. I recommend this to amazing review there from Lynn Painter, the New York Times bestselling author of The Love Wager. We have a question here from Shelby. She says, I just finished The Obsession today. Can you tell me the story of how the story came to you? I'm looking forward to reading Vera because I was not approved by NetGalley or Edelweiss. Hey, they're tough over there. Give us the scoop, Jesse.
So The Obsession is my young adult suspense. It was actually my first book deal. It was the fifth book that I I had ever written, and it didn't sell until after I finished writing my eighth book. So it had a very long journey. But it's about a boy who kind of falls in love with this girl, and then he starts stalking her, and then he sees her doing something really bad, so he uses that to blackmail her into dating him. So a very dark story. Unfortunately, the idea kind of came to me because when I was 16, I moved to LA and I went to a community college. And at some point, I started kind of like making eye contact with this really cute guy on campus. And then finally, one day we started talking. We were kind of flirting. And then he found out I was 16 and I found out he was 28. And honestly, like that should have ended things right there and then.
Yes.
But it didn't. He was like, "Oh, would you like to have dinner?" And I was like, "No," because I felt really weird. Like to me at 16, 28 was ancient.
Yeah.
And then I just started seeing him popping up like everywhere. And I had classes on different sides of the campus because I was taking English and then I was also taking chemistry. So I would be like on opposite sides of the campus, and he was always there, like no matter which side I was. And so I got really freaked out. I was really scared, and
Yeah.
it just made me feel so unsafe. I would often like be pretending to talk on the phone, whenever I walked out of the building, or I would like kind of latch onto a friend. Um, and so yeah, it was like a really scary situation. Luckily, like nothing happened, but I was so angry because I would tell people like, "Oh, I feel really unsafe, with this guy," and they were like, "Oh, I'm sure it's all in your head," or "Oh,
Oh,
but he's so cute. You're so lucky. Like he's giving you some attention because he's hot." And I'm like,
oh.
But I remember feeling really angry about that, like just feeling really like I don't know what to do for help, and so that kind of helplessness, I really wanted to pour into a book. Of course, like the book is way more extreme. So yeah, that was how that came about.
See, I'm so sorry that happened. I mean, what a terrifying thing to happen, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
to anyone. I'm 45 and that would terrify me now, but let alone to a vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
16-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
And to have the
Mm-hmm.
courage and the presence of mind to realize that something is wrong, to report it to, hey, I'm not feeling safe. And then to have that undermined and be told that you're all imagining it,
Mm-hmm.
or worse, that you should be grateful for the attention, is really messed up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
so sorry that happened to you. That is obviously so wrong and should never have happened. And I'm so sorry that it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you put it on the paper so that we can do better
Mm-hmm.
for other girls next time.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby, thank you for the
Mm-hmm.
question.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Diane saying, good evening, Sarah. Good evening, Jesse. Thank you. Hi, Diane. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Hi,
Um,
Diane.
yay. Okay, let me get down to some other questions. Yeah, so thank you for that backstory. I had no idea that that was drawn from your own experience. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me make sure that we're getting through. We have just a few more minutes. So if anyone has any last questions, let's squeeze them in. I want to make sure to get them all in. And oh, Diane would like to know, how do you celebrate release day and release week? So tomorrow your book is out. Tell us how you're going to celebrate.
Oh my God, I'm not doing anything. I
Jesse,
know.
you have
I know,
to.
so like I know. Okay, but the thing is, I write really, really fast because like I have a bit of anxiety, and that is how I deal with the anxieties by writing. So like last year I had four books come out. The year before that I had two, and then last year I had four, and then this year I will have four books coming out. So then my
Wow.
family is like, "Oh, okay, it's another book. Yay, like congratulations." And then that's it. And I don't blame them because I am like, yeah, it was we celebrated like two of my book launches. And it was such a big thing. All of the friends and family came. And then after that, it's just like, yeah, okay, like, it's like celebrating your birthday 4 times a year. It just gets a bit much.
Oh, I don't
So,
think so.
uh,
Listen, it's taking me
so I
9
might have like a
years.
nice meal with my husband.
Please do. It took me 9 years to write my book. If you can write 4 books a year, God bless you. You should be celebrating 4 books a year. Like, good on ya. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Diane,
but you know what though? I find that announcement days are way more exciting than release days. So
ooh,
announcement days is
okay.
when you get to like announce a new book deal, or announce whatever other exciting news, publishing news you have. And those I love because all of my writing friends are overseas, like May Cobb. She lives in Texas. I never see her. But on announcement days, we're all just like, oh my God, congratulations. We have like a fun chat. I get to like talk to all of my friends and fans. So I actually enjoy those more. So I celebrate announcement days.
And how do you celebrate announcement days?
So basically, by having a nice glass of wine and then sitting in front of my computer and just like replying to all of the love that is just pouring in. And then usually then I have a nice meal with my husband and I show him like, look at what this one said. Oh, and it's so sweet.
I love that. Oh, yay. Oh, that's perfect. You know what, Dusty? I think you should come to Thriller Fest, which is the annual conference for thriller enthusiasts in New York, May 30th through June
I would love
4th.
to.
May Cobb will be there. She's already let me know, and I will be
Oh
there.
my
So
gosh.
come hang out with us. And everyone who loves thrillers,
Yeah.
come hang out with us. There are panels all day long. May, I'm sure, is doing some panels, and it is just you get to see everyone, you get to hear about everyone's books, and it is the place to be. So I'm going to drop that in the link. I'm going to put a link in case anyone wants to come. So come to Thriller Fest, everybody. Readers gotta read. Hey girl, good to see you. She says, looking forward to this new book. Is the 3-book series in the background new books or new covers? Newer covers. Tell us about those books behind you, Jessie.
Oh, sorry. So that's actually it's actually not 3 different books. That's actually Dial A for Aunties, the UK covers. So like the orange and pink are both Dial A for Aunties. And then this one is For
Ooh.
Aunties and a Wedding, which is the sequel. I have books missing because I'm doing school visits and I just like kind of grab books off the shelf to take with me to the school.
Ooh,
That's why there are
okay.
like gaps.
But it's so nice to see the different international covers. It's really cool to see, how they redo them
Yeah,
differently for each country. I love that. Readers got to read. Good eyes.
yes,
Thanks for that question. Thanks for
yes.
joining us live. Diane is thanking you for answering her question. Diane, thanks for asking that great question.
Oh, thank you, Diane.
Yay. Okay, guys, we have just 1 minute left. Any last questions? Diane says she likes how you celebrate. I know, I like how you celebrate too, sharing the love and basking in that love.
Oh,
That's so cool. She says she is celebrating with you and Vera. Yay!
oh, thank you, Diane. That's
Sending
so
out
sweet. That means
some of
a
that
lot.
love you're basking in. Yay. Kirkus said the book has vivid sensory descriptions of the custom teas Vera concocts and the elaborate feasts she prepares, further heighten the feel-good appeal, literary comfort food in the guise of a quirky whodunit. Fabulous praise there. Thank you for those
Yeah.
words from Kirkus. Jenny Howell says, step aside, Miss Marple and Sherlock Holmes. I love that review as well. I'm going to pop that up.
Mm-hmm.
This is laugh out loud funny, and she couldn't put the book down. High praise from her as well. Do you have a favorite review, Jessie?
I think my favorite was the one from Lori Elizabeth Flynn, just because Lori is like my soul sister. She's my best friend. And I think she was the first person who read Vera, aside from like my agent. And she was the first one who gave me the blurb.
Yay. Oh, that's so great to know. Well, I'm popping all of the reviews in the comments. So if anyone wants to go and read all of them, they're all here. The Jakarta Post raving Jessie's core strength is ultimately this. Whatever she writes with a passion and a lot of heart. What a perfect note to end on. You guys, here is that link again. So pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. Readers got to read it saying, nice. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to see you pop up. You guys, here's that link one more time. So click and pre-order it, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will send it out to you tomorrow when the book drops here in the US. Jessie Sutanto, thank you so much for joining us, for taking our questions, for giving us the scoop, answering all things Vera. And you will be back in August with your next book, so we can't wait to have you back then. Have a great night, everybody. I will see everybody at the top of the hour with Cynthia Pelayo here to give us an inside scoop on the Shoemaker's Magician.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Yay! Thank you, Jessie. And we will see you again in August. All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.